Morning. No, I'm making bagels. I'm baking bagels, more precise. I'm not making them, I'm baking them. They are already made. Bagels. Tim Hortons coffee. Cheers. There's a maple leaf, a moose, a nook, some kind of flower, a lighthouse, some rocks and trees, a coffee cup, mountains, a train, a donut, a bridge, a goose, a tugboat, more mountains. That's what Canada is. Mountains and tugboats. Beavers. The tugboats. Hello. Welcome to the stream. My name is Steve. No, I don't speak French, sorry. Not very Canadian, is it, not being able to speak French? Well, maybe it is, I don't know. Bonjour, that's all I know. Au revoir. Bonjour. Hello, my name's Steve. Mi nombre es Steve. Mi nombre es Steven. Esteban. Esteban? Is that how you say Steve in Mexico? Steven? Esteban. Mi nombre es Esteban. Mi nombre es Esteban. Hamlin towns in Brunswick by famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so, from vermin was a pity. Sorry, I didn't read those last comments. Couldn't see them. You may repeat them if you'd like. Hamlin towns in Brunswick by famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses from the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. I'm making bagels. Canadian style bagels. Vancouver style bagels. Hello, I'm a cook, I'm a baker, and you're a cook. I'm a baker. Where do you cook? Where do you where do you live? What restaurant do you cook at? We're called Rosemary Rock, so I'm not wearing my Rosemary Rock Salt apron, unfortunately. So I can't show you our label, the next piece, our logo. And I am unable to show you my logo, our logo. Wow, hell's. Anyway, Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasant spot you never spied. But when begins my dignity, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so, from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the fats, and licked the soup from the cook's old ladles, split open the kegs of salt and sprats, made nest the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats, by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last, people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor's a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with vermin, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese, find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, find the remedy here lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this American corporation quaked like consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. For a gilder eyed my urban gown cell. "I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" With the corporation as he sat. "No, they're bagels." It's 5:15 here. I'm in North Vancouver. Pacific Standard Time. This is called Shiva. 1417. Some Shiva. It's made out of mahogany wood. Makes a very satisfying slapping noise on the deck. There you go. In French. Nice. Hello. Mahogany. This one's pretty heavy. They get lighter as you use them. Oh, hello Argentina. Welcome. After you use them for a while, after about a week of using the Shiva, it becomes much lighter because I guess I'm not sure why. Actually, I have no explanation why they become lighter. I guess it's because they lose some of their mass, I would suspect. They become dry and moistureless. Nice. In Italy, wow. I would love to visit the old world and do a little bread expedition. Oh yeah, maybe. That's a possibility. I have been doing this for quite a while though, and I think I'm as strong as I'm going to be from doing this. One of my dreams is to host a traveling documentary show that travels around the world visiting bakeries. I would love to host a show like that. What a dream. What a dream. I'd go around the world baking at all these different bakeries, eating their wonderful breads, pastries, donuts. Oh, I'm a big fan of donuts. My favorite place to get donuts in Vancouver is Cartem's. They make a very good donut. Top pedigree. Nice. I'm glad I have one fan that would watch. Oh well, I mean, there's no reason to be my fan yet, obviously. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what I'd call my show. Steve's Great Bagel Expedition, I don't know. The Grand Bagel Tour. Bagel Planet. Call it Bagel Planet. Steve and the Bagel Planet Expedition. This is a gas fire oven, and I know that might be sacrilegious to some, especially Montreal bagel or Montreal purists, Montreal style bagel purists. It's supposed to be wood fired if they're Montreal style, but my favorite bagel is we make a cinnamon apple, so anything with that's my favorite, cinnamon apple or cinnamon raisin. I'm a big fan of raisins. We don't make a cinnamon raisin here, unfortunately. But I do love sesame. Sesame bagels are probably a close second to cinnamon apple. I try to limit my bagel consumption to one a day though. Because I like bread. So I mean, if I eat lots of bagels, then I can't eat bread, so, or as much bread as I'd like to. I like bagels too, but bread is my favorite. Good old whole wheat bread. My favorite brand is Silver Hills. The Squirrely brand, Squirrely brand, that shit's good. That is some fine whole grain bread. Whole grain. It's even sprouted whole grain. No, I haven't. I have been to Mexico and yeah, just Mexico, sorry, yeah. I would love to visit though. I'm sure there's some fantastic bakeries down there. I work with quite a few people that are from South America. Oh, nobody. Oh, hey, yeah. I work with quite a few people that are from South America. Nice. There's two people at one of our stores that are from Brazil, and I've worked with a guy from Colombia. His name was Juan, and I worked with a girl from Mexico. Her name was Addie, and then I worked with they're boiled bagels. These are Montreal style, which means they are boiled and then baked in an open flame oven. Some say it should be a wood-fired oven, but we do not use a wood fire. We do not use wood fire. We use gas fire for practical and safety reasons. If you look up Montreal-style bagels on Wikipedia, they say that they must be gas-fired or wood-fired. Sorry, but we're breaking the rules here. So I'm calling our bagels Canadian-style bagels, which means that we use they're boiled and then baked in a gas fire oven. No, we don't have a location. Sorry, I didn't read all your comment. We do not have a location in Calgary. We are looking to expand eastward, though. We currently have four locations in Vancouver, 2 on the North Shore, and 2 right in Vancouver. 1 on Main Street, 1 on Commercial. And we're opening a 5th store in Richmond. I'm expecting that one to be a popular store. I think Richmond will very much appreciate our bagels. I'm looking forward to that one opening. Excuse me. Yes, you should come and visit Canada. It's a wonderful country. I do not know my country as well as I'd like to, but I've lived in the western provinces for my entire life. So I grew up in Calgary, or near Calgary. I went to university at the University of Calgary, actually. I have a Bachelor of Communication and Culture from the University of Calgary. I'm from Sundre, Alberta. Small town, Alberta. The rural Alberta advantage. That's the name of a band, the Rural Alberta Advantage, and I think they're aware of the irony, because I'm aware of the irony in that sentence. I grew up in rural Alberta. It doesn't seem very advantageous to me. I like rural Alberta, but there weren't very many opportunities there. Oh yes, I have seen the Northern Lights on occasion. I lived in Edmonton for a few years. I lived in Edmonton for about 3 years. Nice. Oh yeah, Heartland. Yeah, that was a series that was filmed around Calgary, I think, or Edmonton. No, they're bagels. And yeah, donuts are usually fried. I don't know if bagels are. I wake up at 4:30, or sorry, no, 4:30. I wake up at 3 o'clock. I start at 4 or 4:30, depending on the day, whether or not it's gonna be a busy day. So I have an itchy nose. Boneless donuts. I guess, I don't know. I guess so. If you ever choke on a bone in one of our bagels, I apologize. Because I was not aware that bagels had bones. Either. You should say donuts are boneless bagels. Should be the other way. Bagels have bones. Donuts do not. Or did you say that? I don't know. Whatever. Ah, sorry, I have a really itchy nose. Can't scratch it. Is anybody old enough to know the show On the Road Again? My favorite singer would be, who's my favorite singer? Oh, that's a tough question. Ooh. I like folk music. I can't think off the top of my head. I was a huge fan of Radiohead when I was younger. So I like Tom York. He's pretty good. He's not like a super good singer or anything like that. But, he's a decent singer. I quite admire Adele. She's fantastic. She's a wonderful singer. Wonderful. I've been listening and movies. I quite like science fiction, so I like I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, obviously. Everybody's a fan of Game of Thrones. I grew up playing like role-playing games like D&D and stuff like that. So I was really into Lord of the Rings. I don't speak much. Me gusta comer tacos de pescado. That's all I know. No hablo español. No hablo español. Español. No hablo español. No entiendo. No entiendo. No entiendo. Should be a lyrics in a song. No entiendo. No hablo español. Oh, I have a visitor. Oh no, maybe not. No, she's just going to Starbucks. I don't know her. Starbucks has been closed for the last couple weeks. And now we have all these strange people milling around our store because it's open again. Starbucks customers, they're freaks. They're freaks, I tell ya. Yeah, my bagels are good. You should be hungry for my bagels. But you probably live far, far away, and you probably won't have a chance to eat one of my bagels today. It's too bad. It's too bad, you know, that you're just not gonna have a chance to try one of my bagels. I feel for you, bro, or sisto. Sisto. Bro or sisto. Calgary. Yeah, Calgary's a good city. I like Calgary. I lived there for almost 8 years. Or 7 years or something, I don't know. I moved there when I was 21. Yeah, no, I was 21 or 22. And I moved away from Calgary when I was 28 or 29. Oh, thank you for your benedictions. Que tengas un excelente día. So 50 years ago. Que tengas un excelente día. Me gusta comer tacos de pescado. It's my favorite thing to say in Spanish. It's one of the few things I can say in Hamlin towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser deep and wide washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied. For when begins my day, almost 500 years ago. See, the townsfolk suffered so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. Filled from the kegs of salted sprats, they nested in men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last, the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we're lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a guilder I'd my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor. "What's that?" The corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat, nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips where smile went out and in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great grandsire, starting up at the trunk of doom's throne, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." And he advanced towards the council table, "And please, your honor," said he, "on the table, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, the crawler, swimmer, fly, or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly used my charm on creatures that do people harm, the bull and toad, newt and viper, and people call him the Pied Piper. And here they notice round his neck, the scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check. And that scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fed the cam. Last June from his youth swarms of gnats. I east in Asia the Nizam, of a monster's brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 50,000 was the exclamation of the astonished mayor and corporation. One into the street Piper stepped, smiled first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept, to blow his pipe his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, he heard as if an army muttered. The muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives, from street to street piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, where it all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, and see the manuscript he cherished, 2 rat land of his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as of scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous bright into the cider presses bright, and moving away a people top boards, and leaving a jar of concert covers, and drawing the corks of train on flask, and breaking the hoops of butter cask, and it seemed as if the voice, either pardoned by Harper, by Solary, is breathed called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a fast by sultry. So munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already stayed like a great sun shone. Gracious scarce an inch before me, just me thought it said, come for me. I found the west rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells, they rock the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, and get long poles, poke out the nest and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats. When suddenly up the face of the paper curtain in the marketplace, the first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders. The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, moselle, vin de gras pomp, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes a vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your poke. But as for the guilders, what need we spoke of them, as you well know, like a joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. Cinnamon apple. The piper's face fell and he cried, "No trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise to visit by dinner time Baghdad, the accept prime of the head cook of Potage. All he's rich in, for having left in the Caleb's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions, no survivor. With him I proved no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bait a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion." "How," cried the mayor, "do you think I brook being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a rival, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst." Once more he stepped into the street, to his lips again laid his long pipe with smooth straight cane, and there he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling, a pitching and hustling, small feet and pattering, foot shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, and like foals in a farmyard with barley is scattering, out came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping ran merrily after. Wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if they were changed to blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the wreck, and the wretched council of Pleasant Street, as the piper turned from the high street, to where the west had rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, into Culpenberg Hill and steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top. He's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced, and the children followed. And when all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame, and could not dance the whole of the way. And in after years, if you'd blame his sadness, he was used to say, "It is dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town and just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, and flowers before the fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was brighter than the peacock here, and their dogs outran our fellow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. Just as I became assured, my lame foot would be speedily cured. The music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas, for Hamilton, the king of many a burger's pate, a text which says at heaven's gate, opes to the rich at as easy rate, as the needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor said east, west, north, and south, to offer the piper by word of mouth, wherever was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, If only he could turn the way he went and bring the children behind him. But when they saw it was lost endeavor, and piper and dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here on the 22nd of July, 1376, and the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future lose his labor, nor suffered they hostelry or tavern to shock with mirth a street so solemn. And opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, seemed to make the world acquainted how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not admit to say that in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into which they were trepanned a long time ago, the mighty band out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers, scores out with old men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats or from mice, if they promise us aught, let us keep our promise. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askins to watch the working of his lie on mine, a mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee, the purse scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be sent for with this staff? What say he waylay with his lies and stare all the travelers who might find him posted there? And asked the road, I guessed what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescently I deterred as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring, my heart made finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freelier outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow falling, no grieving can amend. While some discuss if there other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best carrying the corpse away, with caribou banners, scarfs, and staves, still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft being writ, so many times among the band of wit. The knights who to dark towers search address their steps, that just to fail as they seem best, and all doubtless now should I be fit. So quiet as despair, I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close. Yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catches astray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged to the plain after a pace or two, then pausing to throw backward a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, great plain all round, nothing but plain to horizons bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such starved, ignoble nature. Nothing throve. For flowers as well expect cedar grove, but chortle and spurge, according to its law, might propagate their kind with none to awe. You'd think a burr had been a treasure trove. No Henry inertness in grimace, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly. It nothing skills, I can't help my case. His last judgment fire must cure this place. Calcine his cause and set my prisoners free. If there pushed me ragged thistle stalk above its mates, its head was chopped. The bents were jealous elves. What made the holes and rents in a dock's harsh Schwartz leaves? Bruised as a walk, all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, passing their life out with the brutes and tents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair and leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone a stare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red gaunt and callous neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draught of happier earlier fights, ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, the soldier's art. One taste of old time sets all to rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt the fold, an arm and mind to fix me to the place, that way he used. Alas, when night's disgrace, out went my heart's new fire and left it cold. Giles, then, the soul of honor, there he stands. Frank as 10 years ago, when night at first, an honest man should dare, he said he durst. Good, but the scene shifts. Faugh, what hangman's hand pinned to his breast the parchment. His own band reads it. Poor traitor spit upon and cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkened path. No sound, no sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the night send a howl or a bat, I asked, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the glooms. No tides congenial to the glooms. This, as it frothed by, might have been a bath for the fiend's glowing tooth. To see the wrath of its black eddies be spat with flakes and spoons. So petty yet so spiteful, all along low scrubby alders kneeled over it. Drenched willows flung them headlong in a fit of rout despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by and heard no whiff. Which while I forded, dear good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's cheek, each step or feel the spear I thrust to seek, for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but ugh, it sounded like a baby's shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank, now for a better country. Vain presage. Who were the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trample could thus pad this dank soil to a plash? Toads in a poison tank. No, I'm making bagels. Or wild cats in a red-hot cage. The fight must so have seemed in that foul cirque. Yeah, thank you. The fight must so have seemed in that foul cirque. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footprints leading to that horrid muse, none out of it. Mad Druids set to work their brains, no doubt. Yeah, I know, we need veggie spread. I'm a vegetarian and I don't eat dairy. And I've been advocating here, I've been trying to advocate to my management, I shouldn't say superiors, you're not my superiors, that we need a vegan spread. Vegan. And we need a vegan bagel. Because we don't have a vegan bagel. Our bagels have eggs in them, unfortunately. I mean, vegetarians, whatever, it's fine. But vegans, we need yes, I know. We need more vegetarian and vegan options here. Nobody listens to me here, though. Nobody. Oh, hello, Germany. Vita-Sein? No, that's Vita-Sein? I don't know. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Or Guten Nacht. I don't know what time it is in Germany actually. Sorry. Guten Abend. Guten Nacht. Guten Tag. Morgen Guten. Guten Tagen. Tagen Sie Deutschen. Yeah. Like, oh, it's daytime there then. Okay, good. I just wasn't sure what time it is in Germany. I don't know if I should be saying Guten Tag or Guten Nacht, but I guess it's Guten Tag. I don't know. Where was I in the poem? The fight must so have seemed in that foul cirque. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse, none out of it. Mad druids set to work, their brains were like galley slaves, the Turk pits for his pastime. Christians against Jews. I feel like I'm getting the hiccups. Whoa. I hate hiccups. More than that, a furlong on, why there? What bad use was that engine for? That wheel, or break not wheel, that herald fit to reel men's bodies out like silk with all the air of Tophet's tool. On earth left unaware, brought to sharpen its rusty teeth of steel. Then came some stubbed ground, once a wood, next a marsh it would seem. Now mere earth, desperate and done with, soul the fool finds mirth, makes a thing and mars it, till his mood changes and off he goes, within a rude bog, clay and rubble, sand and stark black dearth, now blotches rankling, colored gay and grim, now patches where some leanness of the soils broke into moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it recoils. As far as ever from the end, not in the distance but the evening not, to point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird, Apollyon's bosom's friend, sailed past, nor beat his wide wings dragging pen, that brushed my cap perchance the guide I sought. For looking up aware I somehow grew, spite of the dusk, the plain had given place all round to mountains, with such names to grace mere heights and peaks, now stolen in view. How thus they surprised me, solve it you. How to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seem to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me, God knows when. In a bad dream perhaps, here ended then progress this way. When in the very nick of giving up one more time came a click, as when the trap shuts you're in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place. Those two hills to the right crouched like two bulls locked horn in fight, while to the left a tall scalped mountain, Dunce daughter a dozing at the very nunce after a lifetime of training for the sight. What in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret, blind as a fool's heart, built of brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest's mocking elf points to the shipman thus, the unseen shelf he strikes on only when timber starts. Only when timbers start. Not see, because of night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled through a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hand to see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. Not here. When noise was everywhere, it tolled like a bell. Names in my ears of lost adventurers, my peers. How such was strong and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of all lost, one moment knelled the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside, met to view the last of me, a living frame, one more picture in a sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet, dauntless to my lips I set and blew, child rolling to a dark tower came. As another poem by Robert Browning. He is a Victorian poet, or was a Victorian poet. He is no longer alive. He is dead. He has been dead for many years. There you are. I knew you were down there somewhere. Bagels, bagels, everyone loves bagels. Bagels, bagels, won't you eat them too? Everyone loves bagels, flunkies, punks, and junkies, and your parents too. Bagels, bagels.